Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Heartland Championship Wrestling. My name is Dave Little, and I am so pleased that you're joining us here tonight on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network for tonight's broadcast of Pro Wrestling Mid-America Championship Wrestling action. We are coming to you live from Memorial Hall in Kansas City with three great pro wrestling matches scheduled for tonight's broadcast. Before we get started, I would like to welcome a new subscriber to the channel. Daryl C9511 has joined our channel, and thank you for subscribing. And for those of you who want to be part of the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, please like this video, please subscribe, and you can check out the best of professional wrestling action, NBA basketball, History Maker baseball, and occasionally other treats of sports gaming entertainment. So tonight, as we get into things here in Kansas City, let's run down what we have seen so far. Our first order of business tonight is going to be to crown a new Southland heavyweight champion. In fact, this will be the inaugural Southland heavyweight champion. Our first two matches were qualifying matches, with BOBO BRUNZELL defeating Stan Hansen and the Junkyard Dog defeating Ted DiBiase. And those two men will square off in our first televised contest here tonight. And the winner will be the first ever Southland heavyweight champion here in Kansas City. Next up, we will have a grudge match, tag team style, with Greg Gagne and Bruiser and Crusher Blackwell taking on Gary Hart's team of the Great MUTA and the Great KABUKI. MUTA and KABUKI have been causing trouble all over the Federation. First, they got into it with the Junkyard Dog. And earlier this month in St. Louis, Junkyard Dog had a match against Vern Gagne. And Gary Hart brought his men to ringside, and Vern Gagne found himself tied up in the middle of that situation. And he actually was injured by the Great KABUKI in a ringside brawl. That brought Greg Gagne and Crusher Blackwell into the mix. And tonight it will be the younger Greg Gagne with Blackwell at his side facing Gary Hart's team of the Great MUTA and the Great KABUKI. And in our main event tonight, it will be the Pro Wrestling Mid-America Heavyweight Championship with the new champion, Jimmy the Superfly SNUKA, in his first title defense against Dr. Death Steve Williams. And with that, fans, I think we are ready to get started. Our first two competitors are in the ring. Got a couple folks watching in the chat room, so welcome to the chat. If you're catching this live, we're delighted that you're here. If you're catching this on the videotaped replay, then welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe and all that other good stuff, and enjoy the show. Our first contest is for the Southland Heavyweight Championship. This will be the inaugural Southland Heavyweight Champion, as BOBO BRUNZELL out of Detroit, Michigan, 6'4", 280 pounds, takes on the popular Junkyard Dog out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 6'3", 283. So the battle of a couple of very, very big and very, very popular men to start things out tonight here in Kansas City. And the opening initiative roll goes to BOBO BRUNZELL. We roll the red die for the offense, the black die for the defense. And BOBO is going to start things off with an E-lift. He hit that knee lift, but oh, Junkyard Dog is going to hit the reversal, and he comes back and knocks BOBO to the canvas, and he is going to clobber BOBO BRUNZELL with a series of crawling headbutts. The fans are going crazy for the Junkyard Dog. BOBO BRUNZELL is down. What's the dog going to do? He jumps up into the air as BOBO gets to his feet, and he cracks the skull of BOBO BRUNZELL with the jumping head cracker. Oh my goodness, already an attack to the head of BOBO BRUNZELL. He is staggered, and the dog is in control. Junkyard Dog with a whip to the turnbuckle. Pausing the action as I retrieve my charts that I forgot to bring over. Whipped to the turnbuckle by the Junkyard Dog, and here is BOBO BRUNZELL being whipped into the turnbuckle. And on a roll of 6, Bobo Brazil lifts the knee and catches Junkyard Dog charging in with a blow to the side of the head, and that puts Bobo in charge. Bobo Brazil now jumps into the air and gets the head scissors on Junkyard Dog, takes him over and down to the canvas. Very athletic maneuver for the big man Bobo Brazil. And now Bobo is going to whip the Junkyard Dog into the turnbuckle. And as Junkyard Dog comes off the turnbuckle, he bounces forward, and on a roll of 12, Brazil nails the Junkyard Dog with an incredible net-breaking clothesline. Bobo Brazil now in control. Brazil is going to go for the grinding headlock. That is a choice maneuver. And on a roll of 11, he gets the headlock in place. Is he going to be able to force a tap out in this situation? Junkyard Dog is a big, strong guy, but he's having some trouble with this, and finally manages to work his way to the corner to force the referee to break the hold. Welcome to the chat room, Clinton Parks. Navy 31, Army 7. Clinton, are you a Navy guy or are you an Army guy? Junkyard Dog is in some trouble here, and Bobo Brazil is now going to go to the big bear hug. The big bear hug for Bobo Brazil. He can take out a lot of opponents with this, but the Junkyard Dog is a big guy, and he is not going to submit to a bear hug. What's Bobo going to do now? He is going to take Junkyard Dog down to the canvas, and he's going to attempt the falling elbow drop. He can connect on that with a roll of 8 or lower, and on a roll of 8 he connects. And Junkyard Dog is hurt. Junkyard Dog slow to get to his feet. Bobo in control, and Bobo now nails Junkyard Dog with a big hammer punch, and down goes Junkyard Dog to the canvas. The dog is down. Bobo is in control. And it's Bobo with the cocoa butt. That big headbutt. He's going to go for the cover. The pin roll is 6. Count of 1. Count of 2. And on a count of 3, the Junkyard Dog has been pinned. It was Bobo Brazil with a cocoa butt onto the head of the Junkyard Dog. And Bobo Brazil is your new Southland heavyweight champion. So both these popular men receive a nice ovation from the crowd here in Kansas City, but it is Bobo Brazil who is your winner in the first match of the night. In a time of 8 minutes and 2 seconds, your winner and the first ever Southland heavyweight champion. Congratulations to the one and only Bobo Brazil. All right, fans, as I mentioned earlier this evening, next up we have a no disqualification grudge match between two very dangerous men from the stable of the very dangerous Gary Hart, the great MUTA and the great KABUKI. These two mysterious Japanese. They both have been known to throw the mist from time to time to incapacitate their opponents. They both have been known to be masters of the martial arts, and they are both ruthless and devastatingly effective competitors with no mercy and no scruples. So MUTA and KABUKI being brought to the ring by their manager Gary Hart. And what is this? We have Gary Hart accompanied at ringside by a new face to Pro Wrestling Mid-America. Gary Hart has found himself a bodyguard, and that man's name is Al Perez. Al Perez, a very capable grappler in his own right, and he is now going to watch the back of Gary Hart in tonight's no disqualification grudge match. Hart has made plenty of enemies around Pro Wrestling Mid-America. Not only the GAGNE family, but the Junkyard Dog have been on the warpath trying to get after Gary Hart in response to some of his dirty tactics. And so Gary Hart has brought himself out a little insurance policy in the person of one Al Perez, as it is Greg Gagne and Crusher Blackwell. These guys are not the not the world's greatest brawlers, but they carry a lot of pride, and they are invested in the well-being of Vern Gagne, who was injured at the hands of Great Kabuki. And so they are vowing revenge here in tonight's no disqualification grudge match. This will be conducted under standard tag team rules. Each team will get 2 pin save opportunities, but there will be no disqualifications and there will be no count out. So anything goes when these teams hook it up. And now we are ready for action. Starting things off, it will be the angry Greg Gagne defending the honor of his father against the man who inflicted that injury, the Great Kabuki. And the opening initiative roll goes to Kabuki. Sneak attack by the Great Kabuki with a karate kick to the side of the head. And he nailed it. And down goes Greg Gagne. He is staggered and back to the ropes. Kabuki now moving in. And oh, he catches the claw hold to the armpit. This move is designed to weaken the punching ability in the upper body of the opponent. And Gagne is suffering from that. And he is going to be backed into the ropes. So Kabuki already looking at those submission holds and those devious ways that he has to weaken his opponent. And now it's going to be Kabuki going again to the shoulder pinch. He's working the shoulder now. That left arm and shoulder of Greg Gagne are being worked. Is Gagne going to have to submit? Oh my goodness, Gagne is looking at a potential tap out. But he finally gets out of that one. That did cost him a point of fatigue, as Kabuki is already wearing down his man with submission style holds. And now Kabuki is going to bring MUTA into the contest for a double team. They are both into the double team, and oh, it's a double thrust kick to the sides of the head. Greg Gagne goes down, and he's going to have to be covered by MUTA, but Gagne kicks out of that. He is already in some trouble here at the hands of Kabuki and MUTA on that double team, devastating double thrust kick from these two masters of the martial arts. MUTA now methodically working over Greg Gagne. What is MUTA going to do? He is going to go up to the top rope and he is going to attempt the moonsault. He's going to attempt the moonsault and he connects on the moonsault. And he is going to go for the cover. The pin roll is 8. Count of 1. Count of 2. Jerry Blackwell is going to come into the ring to attempt the pin save. And he is cut off by a swift kick from Kabuki. And on a count of 3, Greg Gagne is pinned. Oh my goodness, that was almost no time at all. Just about a 3-minute match there as Greg Gagne suffers the pinfall after that double kick to the sides of the head by Great MUTA and Great Kabuki. MUTA went immediately to the moonsault. And with the moonsault, MUTA snatches the victory. What's going to happen now? We've got a confrontation brewing at ringside as Gagne is down. Crusher Blackwell is in the ring, squaring off against MUTA. And now Al Perez is going to come into the ring. And it's going to be Perez duking it out with Crusher Blackwell. What's going to happen between Perez and Blackwell? Only the dice will tell. And it's going to be a stiff right hand from Crusher Blackwell, knocking Al Perez down and out of the ring. Oh my goodness, Crusher Blackwell reared back with that big right hand and he laid into Al Perez. And he threatened to come with another big right hand, and Al Perez ducked down and rolled out of the ring. Getting out of harm's way in a hurry is Al Perez making a business decision as Gary Hart calls his men back away from this confrontation. And rolling out of the ring is the faction of Gary Hart with the Great MUTA, Al Perez, the Great Kabuki. They have won the battle here tonight, and they choose to live to fight again another day. But we may see some action in the future, as Al Perez is not a very happy man after taking that right hand from Crusher Blackwell. So we may have to book a grudge match between these two, Jerry Blackwell and Al Perez, as the fireworks erupt here in Kansas City. And fans, that brings us now to our main event of the evening. As the riffraff clears out of the ring, MUTA and KABUKI leaving victorious. But Greg Gagne and Jerry Blackwell vowing to carry on with this battle to defend the honor of their father, Vern Gagne. And now a new element has been introduced to this feud in the person of Al Perez, a very capable, very athletic, but controversial brawler out of Tampa, Florida. 6'1", 240 pounds. He made his name in world-class championship wrestling, working alongside Gary Hart, and in a lot of cases just doing Gary Hart's dirty work, as he did here tonight. But tonight it was Perez who ate the big fist from Crusher Blackwell, and Perez was not at all happy about that. But now, fans, it is time for your main event of the evening, scheduled for one fall with no time limit. Introducing first, the challenger, 6'2", 275 pounds, out of Norman, Oklahoma, former Sooners defensive tackle, Dr. Death Steve Williams. And his opponent is your Pro Wrestling Mid-America Heavyweight Champion, 6 feet tall, 250 pounds, out of the Fiji Islands. He is the master of the Superfly Leap. He is your champion, reigning and defending, Jimmy the Superfly Snuka. All right, Snuka and Steve Williams are squaring off in the ring. We've seen two very, very quick decisions here tonight so far. But Dr. Death Steve Williams is hungry for a shot at the gold. And he is staring down against Jimmy Snuka with the title on the line. And oh, the opening ring roll is tied. So that is going to take us to our Mayhem charts, courtesy of the Face to the Mat. Play.com. What's going to happen here in the pre-match? And on a roll of 5-3, it is going to be Heavy. Who is the heavier of the two wrestlers? That would be Steve Williams. And it is Steve Williams who takes advantage early on with the avalanche. How about that? Snuka was just getting out of his ring gear in the corner, and Williams charges into the corner and hits Jimmy Snuka from behind with an avalanche into the turnbuckle. Snuka hits the turnbuckle hard, and Steve Williams will start things off on level 2 offense to begin this contest. A little back jump by Steve Williams, and he is going to go to the football tackle. It is a football tackle, and he takes Snuka to the canvas hard. Snuka slow to get to his feet. Williams is going to go for the standing drop kick. He is going to need a roll of 6 or lower to connect on that. And on a roll of 6, he hits it. He hits that standing drop kick from behind, but Snuka immediately goes to the level 2 reversal, and he turns and catches Steve Williams with a boot to the gut, and he picks up Steve Williams and drops him down to the canvas hard with a pile driver. Oh my goodness, hard-hitting action already in the opening moments of this match. Snuka now in control, nails Steve Williams with the headbutt. Williams backing off, he's hurt. And Snuka brings him up again and smashes him down a second time with another pile driver. Snuka has got all guns blazing here, and the fans in Kansas City are on fire. Williams slow to get to his feet. Snuka off the far ropes, leapfrogs over Jimmy, leapfrogs over Williams, and smashes him hard with a chop to the chest. Oh my goodness, those chops to the chest from Jimmy Snuka can cave in a man's torso. And Williams is reeling. And here's another pile driver, and down goes Williams to the canvas hard. Oh my goodness, Snuka is in control here early, and Steve Williams is going to roll out of the ring. Williams is going to take a powder and leave the ring. But on a roll of 11, it is Superfly Snuka who takes control of the brawl on the arena floor. And he nails Steve Williams with a flying elbow smash off the ring apron. My goodness, Jimmy Snuka is on fire here tonight, and Williams has got his hands full. Snuka now in control, but they're going to continue to brawl on the arena floor. Are we going to see some mayhem? And on a roll of 12, yes indeed, it is ringside mayhem time here in tonight's championship main event. Excuse me, needed a quick drink of water. The roll of 12 on the ringside mayhem table. This may be a double countout. On a roll of 2 to 5, this will be a double countout. And on a roll of 4, it is going to be a double countout. The brawl is just raging up into the stands as SNUKA and Williams are fighting one another tooth and nail. They are battling up into the stands, and there will be a no decision in this contest. This is championship match rules, so countouts and disqualifications are in effect, and SNUKA and Dr. Death are just going to brawl all over the arena. This is going to take us to a gut check roll to see who wins the brawl. SNUKA is brawling with Williams. Up and down the aisles they go. They both have a cage rating of 2. Nobody has any fatigue tokens. So we will represent Jimmy SNUKA with the red die, Dr. Death Williams with the gray die. And it is SNUKA who prevails in the brawl. SNUKA takes control of Williams in the brawl. And Williams is forced to turn tail and depart out of the ring area and up into the up the aisleway. And Williams doesn't want to have anything to do with Jimmy SNUKA. But SNUKA is going to prevail in this battle, but the match itself is a double countout. And that means that there will be a rematch between these two men, once again with the title on the line. It did not take long for that situation to break down, as SNUKA and Dr. Death went out of the ring very early in the match. SNUKA with the flying elbow smash. Williams came back and tried to work the midsection of SNUKA with some punches, and SNUKA wasn't having any of that. And that brawl just broke down and went up into the stands, and several referees had to come out to try and break up the brawl, but the fight continued into the stands, and the referees finally ruled that to be a double countout and a no contest between Jimmy SNUKA and Steve Dr. Death Williams. And that brings our show tonight to a close. 3 very brief matches tonight. I wish I had more for you, but this is the world of professional wrestling, and anything can happen. So Jimmy SNUKA is still your Pro Wrestling Mid-America Heavyweight Champion. Dr. Death Steve Williams will still be the #1 contender. And these two are going to have another confrontation, and that will be a no disqualification, no count out fight to the finish between SNUKA and Dr. Death here in Pro Wrestling Mid-America. Congratulations also to the team of Great MUTA and Great KABUKI for their victory, with MUTA pinning Greg GAGNE after a moonsault. But clearly the hostilities in that situation have not ended with tonight's grudge match. Congratulations also to BOBO BRUNZELL, your new inaugural Southland heavyweight champion. Also earlier tonight we saw Bruiser Brody with a big win over Kerry Von Erich, and the tag team of Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher victorious over the Killer Bees, B. Brian Blair and Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. So fans, that wraps things up here from Memorial Hall in Kansas City. Thank you to Clinton Parks for joining us in the chat room here tonight. Thank you for everybody who stopped in, and thank you for everybody who is checking this out on the videotape delay, video on demand. This broadcast of Heartland Championship Wrestling. That's our stream, and I am out of here.